trade recap for today. Might as well do today and yesterday because yesterday is when I told y'all I was gonna start doing the recaps. So we're gonna go over today's trade and then I'm gonna show y'all yesterday's trade as well. So yeah, this is the trade that we took today. Ended up getting hit break even after we took our trims around like 200 points. This was 30% on QQQ right here, and we was up like 200 points on NQ. And yeah, obviously the trade ended up playing out. QQQ hit full TP over here. And yeah, NQ we got up to around like 360 points in profit. So yeah, let's go over why I took this trade today, right? Starting from the daily. Actually, y'all, I haven't done a recap in a really long time, so I'm just gonna start from scratch, right? So what's the first thing that I look for, right? Daily bias. Next thing I look for is session bias, right? Next thing I'm looking for is an imbalance. Next thing I'm looking for is my OTE. Next thing is standard deviation, and then I'm looking for my entry inversion. Yeah, entry inversion. So this is this is critical. This is what I'm always looking for. So keep that in mind. The fuck was that? Keep that in mind. First thing is the daily bias, right? Why am I going up? Where the hell are the candlesticks at? All right, here we go. So first things first. Actually, yeah, let me get rid of that. Get rid of that. Daily bias, right? So first thing I'm gonna look for is my previous day's low and my previous day's high, right? So obviously, the previous daily candle, we have a up close candle, bullish engulfing candle, right? Bullish engulfing on the daily. So I'm already leaning towards upside for today's price action. Go down to the 1 hour, and that's when I will get my session bias. So the sessions overlap today. As you can see, London took out both sides of Asia. So there's no session bias in either direction to go with today. So what we have so far is daily bias. Let me see. Is there like something I can use for that? Let's see. Yep. Daily bias. Session bias. Session bias is a no. We don't have a session bias. Oh, that was perfect. Where to go? No session bias. Next thing I'm gonna look for imbalance, right? The imbalance that we found is on the 4 hour. So what I said in the pre-market analysis was that I wanted to see this 4 hour candle hold, right? This was, oh shit, I almost forgot to, where is that shit at? There's one more thing that I forgot to include somewhere in here. Liquidity. Duh, you want to look for liquidity as well. So yeah, don't forget about that. But yeah, so we have the imbalance as well. There's an imbalance that we want to pay attention to. Yes. For liquidity today. Oh my god, I can't type. Liquidity is going to be London low. So I want to see London low get taken out for a bounce. Next thing is going to be OTE. Get rid of this one. So the OTE that I marked out today was from this low here to this high here. And obviously we took it out on lower time frame. It'll look like we took it out, like we didn't bounce from it. But if you go to a higher time frame, like the 4 hour or even the 1 hour, you'll see that we bounced from the OTE golden pocket, which would be here, right? So if I take this here and I go here, you'll see where we bounced from. We bounced from the golden pocket, right? So OTE, good. Where we at? This is already a trade that I'm liking. I really just need 4 or 5, really 4 of these things, these confluences for me to want to take the trade. And we already have 4 of them. Next thing that I'm looking for is our standard deviation. So from the wick high before market structure shifts, we have this is the high and then this is the body that we're going to look for on the low. We're not going to look for the bottom wick, we're just going to look for the bottom close. So let's see where we bounce from. If I take this high here to this body close right there, you'll see where the -2 is, right? -2.5 is where we end up bouncing from. So standard deviation is intact as well. This is clearly a plus setup. All right, so the next thing that we will look for is simply a entry. We have our liquidity sweep here. We took out London low right there. That's London low. We have our standard deviation, -2. We have our daily bias to the upside. We have our imbalance that we're sitting in right here, which is the 1 hour, the 4 hour imbalance there. And then what I'm looking for now is a inversion entry. So let's see if we can find one on the 1 minute, right? Let's move this over. All right, so then you'll see here on the 1 minute, we got news that came out at 9, right? And the news came out positive, so that's a even better confluence. That news is what sent us up into this gap right here. Got our inversion, got our entry, and yeah, stop loss goes below here. On futures, on options, I use next day expiration contracts. So my stop loss would have been the low of day, but on futures, this is about a 60-point stop. So yeah, stop loss goes below there, and yeah, as you can see, the trade took off instantly, and we went up around 200 points here. 30% is where I took my trim on QQQ. 200 points on NQ is where we took a trim, and then unfortunately we got hit break even just for it to go and rip, but it is what it is, you know. Let me plot the OT again for you guys so you can see everything and how it all played out. Where the hell? Here we are. Yeah, so this is even, it was a 4 hour imbalance I was looking at though. Yeah, this one that held right there. And then OTE from that, it'll just look like this. And you see where the golden pocket is. You see where we bounced from. So yeah, where is everything? So yeah, these are all the reasonings for why I took that trade, right? And hopefully that all made sense, because it really should make sense. If you've been paying attention to all of the free information in the chat, then you would get why we took this trade and why it all made sense. But yeah, I'm going to show you guys why I took the trade yesterday as well. Yesterday was around, I think we got like 280 points yesterday too. So yeah, let's get into the trade I took yesterday. All right, so this is a trade from yesterday. We caught around like close to 270, 280 points on NQ for full TP here, and then as well as 55% on QQQ as well. So let's get into why we took this trade yesterday. First things first is daily bias, right? So for the daily bias, what I had was bounce. So I wanted us to bounce to the upside because we were testing this daily bullish imbalance here, right? So that gives me a daily bias of a move to the upside. So let's go to the 1 hour after that. I mean, what was that? Let me plot that. Daily bias, right? We have our daily bias, and I'm leaning to the upside already. Next thing would be the session bias, and as you can see, the session show, let me get rid of this bottom one. The session show that London broke Asia to the upside, right? So that gives me a session bias already there. So now I have daily bias and session bias. Next thing I'm looking for is liquidity. I'm looking for imbalance. I'm looking for OTE and standard deviation and entry inversion. Okay, for liquidity, right? What I wanted to see was us tap into London low, right? Whereas London low, guys? London low is here, this purple line there. So where did it go? We have where we want to look for liquidity. It's going to be London low. So we have that. As far as imbalances, there's a 30-minute imbalance here that I wanted to see hold off of London. This is your 30-minute imbalance right at London. Want to see that hold? We got that as well. So imbalance, check. Yeah, see how this shit all like falls in line, right? It all has to make sense. As far as OTE, I'm pretty sure this was plotted on the hourly. Yeah, from this low here, this OTE was plotted from this low here. Where is it? This low to the swing high before we got that pullback, which is there. So you go down to the 15 or the 5 and you'll see where we ended up bouncing from, right? Which was right at that golden pocket in the OTE. So OTE, perfect. Right in the golden pocket. And this was all, I see all this stuff. All this stuff has to play out as the trade is presenting itself. Like obviously in hindsight, I can jot all this stuff down for you, but in real time, you have to be seeing all of this stuff happen. The next thing would be standard deviation, right? And once I get OTE and standard deviation to align, that's when I'm like, okay, bet this is all working. And for standard deviation, right, the last leg before the change of market structure, right? So the highest point there, and then the body low of this move here, the bodily close right there of that low right there, and then you'll see where do we bounce from here. If I drag the standard deviation over, I was to drag it over, still keeping us at that low. Actually, let me put it like this so I can see it. Still keeping us at that low and at that high. You'll see here. Where do we end up bouncing from? -2, right? -2 is where we ended up bouncing from. So standard deviation is in line as well. This is a plus 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 setup, guys. Oops, I didn't mean to click that. So now all we have to do is find an entry inversion. And another thing that gave this trade super confirmation was that we got a freaking SMT for the cherry on top. Literally, like, look at this. We had this SMT right here between NQ and ES. Where is ES? Yeah, literally. Had this SMT right here between NQ and ES. So that was the cherry on top. And let's look for our entry inversion on the 1 minute. Where we at? Entry inversion on the 1 minute. There's your entry inversion. Boom, take the entry and ride this thing. We rode it past London high up into this. This is a 15-minute imbalance. Let me show you. Let me mark that out though. So yeah, this was a 15-minute imbalance that I was targeting, right? And another reason why I targeted that imbalance was because not only was it a 15-minute imbalance, it was also the -4 on the standard deviation from this wide range. There's 15-minute standard deviation, right? If you applied it from that leg here before the market changes structure, you'll see we have the -4 in that imbalance. So that's why I wanted to target that. So yeah, this was clearly a super A+ setup yesterday. And yeah, hopefully it's making sense. Like all of this, everything falls in line. And yeah, any questions, literally hit me on Discord, Instagram, comment section here, any of that. Literally, it's pretty, I wouldn't say self-explanatory, but literally you just have to make sure that everything falls in line. literally like step by step by step by step by step before you take your entry, and then boom, if you follow the rules, you should be fine. So yeah, I'm gonna try to keep these daily recaps, trade recaps going. So next recap should be on Monday. So yeah.